Okay, ladies, I have actually officially started recording the session. So I first want to just say that I appreciate you all agreeing to do the go-to meeting today. Um, I originally had it set for, well, all this month we've been doing our meetings at 4:30, and I knew that tomorrow I couldn't do the 4:30 one. I was going to be in a training class, so I knew I wasn't. I'm scheduled to go into a training class in the morning, so I was going to try to do it at 9, but um, what I was afraid of was that I will be pushed for time or in a time crunch and wouldn't be able to explain things like I wanted to. So that's why I changed and decided if we can all, since it's just the three of us, if we can just try to do the go-to meeting tonight at 8 o'clock or whenever it was convenient for you all. I will be willing to do that because that'll give us more time and won't feel like we're in such a crunch or anything like that. Um, so, so before I get started, um, you all's, I have two more. I've put in all of your grades except for the two databases. I need to go and look at those again before I actually give a final grade on them. So I'll either, I probably won't do that tonight. I will probably, I know in the morning I'll have it completed because I have to send you all grades in because you're taking online classes. I have to send those grades in every week to Dr. Smith. And so I'll have to be done with them in the morning. So you all will see those grades in the morning. But I want you all to either have something to write on and something to write with because I really need you to take notes on everything that we're saying for tonight. Okay, so if you don't already have something to write with and something to write on, let me know and I'll give you an opportunity to get something so you can take all the notes that we're going to discuss about tonight. Um, so I have, let's see. So I think what I want to do first, and I think what I'm going to do, we're going to take notes day by day. Okay, so for day 13, let's start there first. Let me pull the database. Okay, so for day 13, um, this is for like tomorrow. And of course, the thread discussion is already open, so you can start on it whenever you want to. You have discussion number 7. That's your initial post. So you have that to turn in tomorrow. And I'm saying tomorrow because we're doing the go to meeting today a day earlier. So for Monday, day 13, you're going to have to do your initial post for your threaded discussion, and that's where you answer the question itself. Of course, we normally will have our go to meeting, but we have it today. I'm recording it, so if you miss something, you'll have opportunity to go back and listen to it because I'll upload it as soon as the meeting's over with. Your journal, you can turn it in. You can actually turn your journal in tonight, or you can turn your journal in tomorrow. You don't have to wait till tomorrow to turn your journal in if you don't want to, because that's not your activity. That's not like your activity for that day per se. That's counted for your attendance and all that. You have something else to do. So the journal can be turned in tonight, or it can be turned in tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm not changing any original dates. Whatever original date I had for the journal, it's not going to change just because we're having the meeting today. We just did the meeting today. It doesn't change anything as far as when you can turn your journal in. So I'm not against you turning it in tonight, and I'm not asking you to do that. I really want you to leave the meeting tonight and just not do anything the rest of the night and just enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. It's what I really want. But I'm gonna leave that option up to you. Um, We're going to get to your activity that's for tomorrow. I'm going to get to that. Chapter 12 is your homework assignment for tomorrow. And the only other thing I have for you doing tomorrow is the final project prep. Now, let me talk about the activity you got for tomorrow. And then I'm going to talk about what a final project prep is, because that will lead me into the discussion of the final project. On tomorrow, now this is where I really need you to take some notes. The reason I wanted this meeting, and it will be what I do tomorrow. It would have been what I would have done tomorrow, except tomorrow I would have felt more rushed because I'm more in a time crunch. I need you to take notes really well on what I'm about to say for the next 2 days of activities, because I'm going to be in a training class. I will be in a training class. It usually starts around 11:15ish, unless something changes. But I'll be in an actual training class the majority of the day. I won't be back home till after 8, and that's when I'll be available for questions. And that's kind of late considering the fact that you have an activity that you got to turn in. So that's why I'm having the meeting today, so that you can take notes and you can ask questions on things that you need to ask questions for. Now, for day 13's activity, you are going to do a database. Okay. So here are some things I need you to write down about that database. Number one,
Wait a minute. Wait 1 second.
okay, this is for day
Okay, I'm ready.
13. This is for day 13 activity. You're going to do a patient database.
Hmm.
Okay. The very first thing I want you to know is that that database is going to be in dot sharing as a PDF file. It will not be a Word file. It's going to be a PDF file. So if you don't have access to PDF, then you got to go to the school or to the nearest place you can go for a computer, because that's how it's going to be uploaded. It's not uploaded as a document. And it is because it is a scanned document into my email. And when you make the conversion to Word, it erases a lot of the formatting, so you wouldn't be able to read the document. So that's why I left it as a PDF. But it is a PDF file. That's the first thing. Okay. With this database, you're only going to have two documents that you got to open. It's going to be the PDF file itself. Now, let me tell you something about the PDF file. Take notes on this. The PDF file is 10 patients. I know you probably say, "Oh, that ain't a lot." Yeah, when you got to fill in what you got to fill in, it's going to be a lot. Okay? But it's only 10 patients. And I kept it to 10 patients because it is a lot of stuff that from those 10 patients you got to put in. This is going to be a very huge database. Very huge database. Okay. The second document that you're going to have to open up is a blank Excel spreadsheet. So this is going to be a blank Excel spreadsheet that you're going to open up. And I'm going to give you the instructions for this database or this activity like I would any other database or any other activity. Not going to change. I'm going to give you the same. I'm going to tell you what to save it as. I'm going to tell you what headings to use, all of that. Now, let me tell you something else about this activity. That's another note for you to take.
Wait a minute. We gonna open up a spreadsheet from our computer, or it gonna be one in that PDF file?
The you're gonna open two attachments. The one of them is the PDF file. The PDF file is your patient cases that you're working on. 10 patients.
Okay.
They're gonna all be in that one document. So let me tell you, when you open that document, it's 10 pages. They're right behind each other, in sequential order. Case number one, two, three. They're right behind each other. It should be 10 pages. That's one document.
Okay.
Your second document is an Excel spreadsheet, just a blank spreadsheet. And I'll have it in there like it'll say something like blank spreadsheet or supplement, like day 13 supplement or something like that. You just, whatever it is, it's going to be labeled day 13. Even if it's the PDF file, it'll say day 13 um, patient reports for database or something like that, and then you'll see day 13 supplement. And your supplement is going to be an Excel spreadsheet, blank. You just got two documents. You know to open up both of those documents, because everything that you need for that database is going to be in that PDF file. Every patient you need, everything that I'm asking you to put in the Excel spreadsheet comes off of those reports. And what you're getting are face sheets. These are face sheets for every single patient. So everything that you need gonna be on there. Everything. Okay. So, and I will tell you, what I'll do. I will tell you, like you'll see something. Actually, you may see three documents. Let me change that to three documents, because the reason I say that is because I always give you all a document that has the grading rubric and the instructions. So just know you're going to have three documents. You're going to have one that gives you the instructions and the grading rubric, what you got to do. Another document that is the PDF file, and then a third document that is a supplement. That's your blank Excel spreadsheet. Okay, y'all got that? That makes sense?
Spell document.
DOCUMENT.
MEN. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So y'all got that. So you know you got three documents. All right, now let me tell you something about these cases. Up until now, you have not been required to give me any kind of patient ID, MRI number, chart number, anything. You haven't had to do that up until now. Well, that's about to change. On this database tomorrow, you're going to have to give me patient ID numbers. You'll know you got to give it to me, because it is going to be one of the headings that I'm going to tell you you've got to have. So I need you to write down this note.
Wait a minute. You say patient record numbers?
Well, they're gonna be called patient ID numbers.
Okay, patient ID number. Okay.
So basically, you're gonna make a column that will say patient ID. And yeah, you're gonna have a column that's just gonna say patient ID.
Okay.
Okay. Now, write down this note. All patient ID numbers, are at the top of each document. All patient ID numbers are at the top of each document.
All patient ID numbers are
at the top of each document.
Okay.
Okay. Um, okay, I need you to make another note about this database that I'm giving you. For the date of birth, and I'm gonna put this in instructions, but in case I forget to put it in instructions, or if you fail to overlook or don't see it, let me verbally tell you. For the date of birth, for all date of birth, you will use YYYY for the year. For all date of birth. And I'm telling you this because these are face sheets. These are patient cases from a resource, from our resources. So they didn't give date of birth. So I'm telling you, you're going to use for date of birth on all of those patients, YYYY. You're not going to put an actual year. Okay? Make another note. For the admission date, for the admission date, for the admission date, and for the discharge date, for the admission date, and for the discharge date, you will use YYYY for the year.
Okay, for the admission dates and for the discharge dates.
Yes.
YYYYYY.
Yes.
So for these dates, are we given a month and a day?
You're given the month and the day. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but she want 4-digit year, right?
Yes. And I'm asking for 4-digit year because that's what's on your sheet. And I'm teaching you how to do it based on what you're given when you, so like if you were given this actual face sheet on this patient, you will put that in. I'm trying to teach you how to put it in like you see it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, make this note because it's going to be a little bit of a change. For the date of birth, the admission date, the discharge date, you will format it as 00/00/00/00. Does that make sense? You know, up until now,
Wait a minute.
you all
Mm-hmm. Thank God.
you've been doing dashes up until this point. Well, that's about to change. Now you finna go into slashes. So this is where I get students because once I get them acclimated doing dashes and then convert them back to slashes, they still miss it because they didn't pay attention. They just automatically say, "Oh, okay, well I know to do." No, no, no. Look at the instructions really, really carefully because it changes. So now you're gonna do slashes for date of birth, admission dates, discharge dates. Won't be doing dashes.
Okay, that's good.
Now, let me make this note to you. For any phone number that I ask you for, it doesn't matter what the phone number is, you're going to still format it as this 000 dash 00 dash 0000. I'm telling you that because on your face sheet, you're going to see area codes in parentheses. I do not want you doing that. That's an extra step. I don't want you doing that. I want you to keep it 000 dash 00 dash 0000.
So
No,
going all
we're
zeros.
missing a zero.
0 0 0 0 dash. Oh yeah, that's right. 0 0 0. I'm thinking about Social Security number. 0 0 0 dash 0 0 0 dash 0 0 0 0.
Do it again now. Zero zero
Area
zero dash.
code,
You know, like area code and then
area code dash first 3 digits dash last 4.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I got. I
Um,
thought you had more than me.
I'm trying to see. Hold up, I ain't got it on this. Oh, that's on that one. So I won't. Okay, let me concentrate on this one first. Okay, so I need you to make another. I need you to make another notation on the face sheet of every patient that I give you. You're going to see for most of them, or better yet, all of them, principal diagnosis and secondary diagnoses. And this is on the face sheet. It actually gives you the verbiage, like the actual word for the diagnosis and the actual word or the actual name of the procedure for the procedures. Plus, it
You
gives you
want
the code.
codes.
I only want code. So let me give you an example. So, like, say for instance, if a patient, if you're gonna see on the face sheet, acute and chronic. Don't write this down. Just listen to me because I'm giving you an example. You're gonna have on one sheet. It's gonna say acute and chronic cervicitis with squamous metaplasia, and then over to the right, it's gonna tell you that the code for that is 616.0. When you create your columns, and I ask you for the diagnosis code and the CPT code, under the diagnosis code for that particular patient, you're going to give me 616.0. Don't give me the actual word. That takes up a really big column. Like, say, for instance, the procedure may be DNC, and the code is 69.09. Under the CPT code for that patient, I want 69.09. Does that make sense,
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Mary?
huh. I was right on the face sheet.
Okay, so what I'm telling you is this. For the diagnosis codes and for the CPT codes, I only want the numerical codes. I do not want the actual word itself, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Okay? Now, I'm not through with that note. Let me add to that. On a lot of your patients, you are going to have multiple diagnosis codes and multiple CPT codes. Here's 2 things you need to do. Number 1, you need to put, if it's 3 diagnosis codes on one patient, diagnosis code now, 3 diagnosis codes on one patient, you're going to have to separate each one of them by a comma. Now, you know when you put a comma behind something, you're supposed to put a space back there too before you type the next thing. So let me give you an example. Say, for instance, you had 616.0 and 466.0. You will type in 616.0, comma, space, 466.0. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you don't put a space behind that comma, that looks tacky when you send that report out. It really does. It looks like everything just running together.
Yeah.
So, commas and spaces lets me know, the reader, that those are multiple things applying to that patient. But when you got it all jumbled up in there, it really, really looks tacky. So don't do that. Same thing with your CPT codes. It doesn't matter how many you have, you got to put all of them in there. So you got to be looking at your sheet very carefully. The one thing I can say about your face sheet, it does a good job with separating everything. So let me tell you this. On your sheets, you're going to see, on some of them, you're going to see a principal diagnosis and a secondary diagnosis. Again, so let's just say, for instance, you may have 1 principal diagnosis, 2 secondary diagnoses. all three of those codes, one principal diagnosis, two secondary diagnoses, all of them are going to go in the same cell under the same column, diagnosis codes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're only going to create one column for diagnosis code, and you're only going to create one column for CPT codes. I'm not going to have you creating 4 and 5 different. No, because every patient, it varies between patients. So I'm not going to do that. So that's why I'm saying put all of the diagnoses, both principal and secondary. If you don't have a secondary diagnosis for a patient, it's okay. That doesn't mean anything's wrong. It just means for that patient, you don't have it. So you put what you have. For principal procedures, it's going to be the same thing for some of the patients. You're going to have a principal procedure and a secondary procedure. It doesn't matter how many codes you have for each one. They all go in the same block, separated by commas. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Mary?
It does. All codes go in the same block.
Mm-hmm. You just separate them, both principal and
By
procedure.
code.
Make sure you look at your sheets really good, because you can make a mistake and write down the same code, or write a code or put a code in the wrong space. So just look at them really, really, because I mean, some of them, like you may have one patient got got one principal diagnosis, but 5 secondary diagnoses. So yeah, all 6 go under diagnosis, separated by commas. Now you're gonna have some patients may not have no codes. So if you come across a patient that's got a diagnosis code but not a procedure code, then what you're gonna put in those blocks is capital N/capital A. And that pretty much is for anything. Whatever I asked you for, if that particular patient you're looking at doesn't have it, don't leave it blank. Tell me capital N/capital A. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It is.
And that's pretty much all I have to tell you as far as little bitty notes, because everything else, like I said, is just going to be self-explanatory from the sheet. And that takes care of day 13 activity. Y'all got any questions about that before we move on to final exam prep?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so a final exam prep. If you look under day 13 in your portal, whenever you get a chance, I'm not asking you to do that tonight. When you get a chance tomorrow and you look at final exam prep, there are 3 things I have listed there to help prepare you for the final project. There are 3 things I have listed there, and I have that available for you to be able to open and read. Okay? Now, that preps you for the final project. But let me talk about the final project. The final project, so make you a new column or a new section, and let's talk about the final project. Okay, so for starters, the final project is 10 patients. That's for starters. I can go ahead and tell you that. It's 10 patients. You're going to have 3 documents for the final project. One document is always the one with the instructions. And then you're going to have a second document, which is your PDF of your patients. I'm going to warn you and tell you right now, before you pass out, it will be 30 pages. Your final project.
We're going to be 30 pages.
Your final project.
Oh, my God.
No, not 30 pages for what you're going to give me. 30 pages are your patients.
Oh, okay.
Because there are 10 patients, and each patient has 3 sheets.
Okay.
Okay? Now let me tell you what they are. Let me tell you what they are. The first sheet is the patient information form. The patient information form is the first one. The second sheet is the encounter form or super bill. This is the one, tells you what it'll have on there, what the doctors marked, what their visit was, whether it was preventative, office visit, if they're established patient, a new patient, it'll have all that marked. It'll have an X by any procedure they had done, an X by any laboratory they had done, an X by any injections they had done, and at the bottom, it'll have the diagnosis and payment amounts. Did they pay with a check? Was it a copay? How much they paid? All of that.
What you say the second paper is?
Encounter form.
Encounter, okay.
And then the third document is a source document, but it's a payment document. Actually, it's more like a kind of sort of like a EBT, a little bit, kind of, but it's a payment document. It's a source document. Okay, now, so let me give you some other little tips or particulars. You're going to record dates as you see them. You are going to record dates as you see them on the sheet. You are going to record phone numbers and social security numbers as you see them on the sheet. You're going to record phone numbers and social security numbers as you see them on the sheet. Okay, now let me tell you something else. Now, for your final project, you have to do chart numbers. You're going to have to do chart numbers, and let me tell you where they are. All chart numbers are found on the top of the encounter form. All chart numbers for each patient is found at the top of the encounter form. All chart numbers. Now, let me tell you something else about these chart numbers that you probably don't know. So, are you ready?
Wait a minute. I'm ready.
Okay, the last character at the end of each chart number is a 0. The last character at the end of each chart number is a 0. Don't put an O, that's a 0. Even if you see something that looks like 2 O's at the end, that's actually an O and a 0. Okay?
You said the last character at the
character at the end of each chart number is a 0. The last character that's on every chart number that you do, it is a 0. Because these chart numbers that I'm giving you, they are letters and one number.
Okay.
Yeah, these chart numbers that I'm giving you, they're letters and one number. And the number is at the end of the chart number. So the chart numbers that I'm giving you, they consist of letters and one number. And the number is at the very end. Okay, y'all got that?
Wait a minute. I'm ready.
Okay, but does that make sense about the chart numbers?
Uh-huh. It says got letters and numbers.
It's got letters and then one number. It only has one number and it's at the end.
Okay, that's that 0.
That's the 0, yes. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. On the source document, that is the financial document, it is the document where you're going to give me charge amounts and the amount paid to providers.
What you call it?
Remember, that's the third document. It's the source document. You can call it the financial document if you want to. It's fine. I just need to tell you some things about it.
Wait a minute. You say the last document is the source document?
Source document, financial document, whatever you want to call it. I just need to, make a notation about it.
Is that the one that you call the third one you call the payment document?
Yes.
Okay, that's a source document.
Okay, now, on that document, that's the document where you're going to be providing to me charge amounts and the amount paid to the provider. So, in some instances, on some of your patients, you're going to have to add up all of those amounts and give me the total for them. So, basically, you can kind of do like you did this past week, where I asked you charge amounts, amount paid to the provider, and total. Okay? So, you just need to be prepared. Like, for instance, one patient, on his form, it just has his name, but he has 6 different charge amounts. And for each one of those amounts, a different amount was paid to the provider. And that's because he had 5 different procedures. He had them all done on the same day, but they were 5 different procedures. And I'm sure some of them are more than likely office visit and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So, like, he had an office visit, he had venipuncture, he had an ECG, he had 2 lab tests. Each one of them were a different procedure. So if you remember from your coding class, each procedure carries a different what? Charge amount, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if I'm asking you for him to give me his charge amount and he had 5 different ones, you're going to have to add up each one of those to give me what the charge amount is. And so for each one, for each charge amount, he paid a certain amount to the provider. You're going to put that number in separately. I'm sorry, not separately. You're going to add that number up as well. Because you're only going to have one column. You're going to have one column for charge amount, one column for amount paid to the provider, and then you're going to have a balance column, pretty much. So, like, say, for instance, on this patient, his charges were $504 charge amount. For each one of them, he had 5 procedures. Each one of them, they total out to $504. That means on the charge amount, you're going to put $504. the amount paid to the provider, when you add up everything on his sheet, it was 389. So you're gonna put in that column 389. And so then you're gonna take the difference of the 504 and the 389 to give me a balance for him. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But this
What
is
was the 389?
no, I'm just kind of throwing out some. 389 was like the amount paid to provider.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Paid to the provider.
Mm.
Okay, thank you.
So then you're welcome. So then you will give me the difference between those two.
Yeah, I got you.
Put that in the balance column. Okay? Does it make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But this is what I want to tell you. On some of those source documents, those financial sheets, when you open up the PDF file, on those documents, you're going to see circles. Okay? The reason you see circles is because I've circled the patient you need to be focused on, because some of them have multiple patients on here with their charges. Like some sheets may have 6 patients listed. But if one of those patients out of them 6, if John Doe is the patient that you need to be looking at, because prior to that, that's whose patient form you was looking at, all the others don't matter. So to make it easier so you wouldn't be confused, I went in on every source document before I scanned it to myself. I went in on every source document and I circled on the financial sheet the patient you need to be focused on. So now it's going to be up to you to make sure that the numbers you're adding up and giving me coincides with the actual patient that you're supposed to be looking at. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now let me point this out. When you open that document, that 30-page document, all your patients are listed in order of how their sheets should be. So like if your first patient is John Doe, then let's just say that's your first patient. You're gonna see John Doe as patient number as document number 1. You're gonna see John Doe patient information form. Then behind that, right after that, you're gonna see John Doe's encounter form, and then John Doe's source document. Let's say your next patient is Mickey Mouse. Then you're gonna see Mickey Mouse patient information form, Mickey Mouse encounter form, Mickey Mouse financial form. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So that's why I said when you get to them source documents, them financial sheets, you got to keep them sheets in order. Like, so if you plan on printing this stuff, you got to keep them sheets in order how they're listed in that document if you plan on printing them. Because if not, you're going to mess yourself up. Because I went in, so if patient number 2 was Mickey Mouse, and when you got the Mickey Mouse financial sheet, it has 6 other patients on there: Donald Duck, Happy Duck, Glad Duck. It don't matter who else on there. I circled Mickey Mouse because that's who I want you to focus on. So I've already circled on those sheets everything pertaining to that patient, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 charges. It doesn't matter. That's just what I want you to focus on. So when you get to those particular sheets, pay no attention to charge amounts on anybody else. Pay no attention to amount provided, paid to the providers, and absolutely pay no attention to the totals at the bottom of the sheet, because the totals at the bottom is for all of those patients listed in that form. That ain't what you focus on. You focus on the one that I have circled. Now, does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Because if you don't do that, you're going to miss all of those columns. You're going to miss them with flying colors. You're going to miss all of them. Because the numbers ain't going to be right at all. So, like if I'm looking at Mickey Mouse and his charges are $450 for the charge amount, but because you're looking down at the totals say 1,016, you're going to miss that. That ain't right. No. Mm-mm. You got to add up Mickey Mouse charge. If his charge is 500, you have to put 500. Don't look at the total at the bottom. Um, Now, on some of your patients, you may only have one charge amount and one amount paid to the provider. That's okay. You just got to make sure, just make sure you do your calculations correctly. I'm gonna stress that again because students miss that a lot. Yes, you're gonna have to format all financial numbers like currency. I think you already knew that was coming. So
Yeah.
co-pay, anything I ask for like that, anything that's a money based, you already know it's gonna have to be in currency format. You already know that's two decimal points, dollar signs, all that good stuff. Okay, so let's see. Chart number data data data. Let's see what else. Um, let's see. So date of births will be formatted 00 dash, I'm sorry, 00/00/00/0000 4
Wait a minute.
years.
Date of birth.
It'll be basically it's DD slash MM slash YYYY.
Do that again now.
DD slash
Uh-huh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry. I'm sorry. It's not DD. It's MM. I'm sorry. Scratch that.
Okay.
MM. Month is first. MM slash DD slash YYYY.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see what I told you. Social security numbers. Marital statuses. We got that. Um. Yeah. The date of service. For the date of service, um, there are two things about the date of service I want you to know. Two things about the date of service. You're going to format it as MM slash DD slash, and you're going to use 2016 for all of the years for each date. 2016. That's the way all of them are dated anyway, okay? Everybody got that?
Uh-huh. Oh.
Okay. Now, you're going to do something you probably haven't done before. It's called the TOS, the time of service. TOS, time of service. Those need to be written in military time. Y'all know what I mean when I say military time?
Like
Mm-hmm.
1600, 1700.
Right. And if it's 9:30 in the morning, how you write that?
Oh, 900.
0930.
0930 if it's 9:30.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So make sure you do your TOSs in military time. And the same rule applies about the CPT codes and the diagnosis codes. If there's multiple ones, then you list them as such. So this is going to be a little different. On these patients, the diagnosis code is going to be given at the bottom of the encounter form, but the procedure codes are going to be marked by an X on the encounter form. So guess what students tend to miss? They miss the X's. They don't look at the sheet really good. Don't miss them. And just keep in mind, because you've had coding classes, you know your procedure codes are anything pertaining to an office visit, a preventative visit, a hospital or nursing home visit. Procedure codes are pertaining to any kind of procedure done in the facility, outside the facility. Procedure codes consist of lab procedures, and procedure codes consist of injections. I had a student ask me one time, well, why I got to put this lab procedure in here? Because it's a procedure. Lab is a procedure. Yes, it is. And you've had coding, so that bothers me. Yes, it does. Yeah, it is.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but you said that the diagnosis codes are going to be located at the bottom of
Uh-huh. They'll be,
each sheet.
they'll be at the bottom of the encounter form. You'll see it.
The encounter form. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the procedure codes, we just have to find them on the sheet.
The procedure code and the diagnosis code are both on the same sheet, on the encounter.
Oh, okay.
See, your encounter form gonna look like a super bill. It's gonna have the procedures marked with an S, but it's gonna give you the diagnosis verbatim at the bottom.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, see, it's
Gotcha.
gonna give you the procedure, it's gonna give you the diagnosis code at the bottom, plus it's gonna give you whatever the patient may have paid for a copay or co-insurance, deductible, anything like that. It's gonna give you that at the bottom of the sheet as well. If they pay by check or whatever, it'll tell y'all that it's just your procedures. They're gonna be marked by X's. So you gotta make sure that you look at your sheet really good. Now, your financial sheet mimics your encounter form. So, if I got a patient that only had an office visit and it's 99202, when you look at your financial sheet, all you should see circled for that patient on that date of service is 99202, the amount paid, the amount charged, the amount paid to the provider. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Say that again. Financial sheet.
Okay, so say for instance on the encounter form you have one procedure mark and it's an office visit, 99202. When you look
Okay.
at that financial sheet behind it, that source document, it should
Uh-huh.
mimic what you see on the encounter form because it's more or less like your EBT. Your EBT mimics your encounter form. EBT is a breakdown of what you had done at the doctor's office. It tells you how much you were charged and how much the insurance company paid to the provider. That's what an EBT does. See, a copay and what you paid to the provider are two separate things. Yeah, your copay is what you pay just to see the doctor. That has nothing to do with the amount paid to the provider. The amount paid to the provider comes from the insurance company. You don't even see that until your EBT, until your claim has been processed and your EBT has been processed to come back to you. That's when you see that. The copay is a right now payment. That's something you pay before they even let you go behind the door. That's an upfront cost. Has nothing to do with what you pay to the provider. So when you do the copay, because that's just a minute amount, you say, "Oh, I gave the doctor $5." No, you paid $5 to see the doctor. That ain't nowhere near what he gonna get. He still got to get his other portion after he files a claim on the services, the full amount of services that he gave you. So when you see that marked on your encounter form, when you look at your source document, the financial sheet, it should mimic that. Except it just goes in a little further. It tells you that the charge amount was 88 and the amount paid was 45. The reason I'm stressing that is because what some students would do, they'll look at the encounter form, they'll see that a patient paid a $5 copay, and that's what they'll plug into the charge amount. Or sometimes they'll plug that into the amount paid to the provider. That's wrong. That's incorrect. You can't do that. Because you're going to have a separate column for copay. You can't record that twice. So those are three different numbers: the copay, charge amount, and amount paid to the provider. They are three separate charges. Three separate. They're not the same. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. It makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute though, before you go any further. Okay. Okay, call out the three things you said: co-payment,
Co-payment, charge
For the
amount,
three,
and co-payment, charge amount, and amount paid to the provider. Those are two separate things. They're not the same.
okay.
Okay. And one last thing about the final project for the physicians, the providers, for the providers. For the providers, I only want first and last name. I don't want no initials, just straight first and last name. So if the doctor's name is Nature's Own, then you just type in there Nature's Own. I just need the first and last name. All provider names are at the top of the encounter form. That'll just be easier for you to find it. All physicians' names are at the top of the encounter form.
You said they on they names on the top of what?
The encounter form.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
All right, so that takes care of everything for the final project. And of course, you know, you'll submit it under final project. This is what you'll do on Tuesday. You have your final project to do, and that's it as far as your, you know, assignment, so to speak. But then you have homework. So I want to make mention about homework. So on the homework for Tuesday, you know you're going to do your responsive course for discussion number 7. You'll do your response post. And then you're going to have 2 homework assignments. One of them is called a transitional template. And the other one is a little small activity on shredding services. And they will both be like a document, and they'll come with instructions, and they're really easy. So you don't have to stress out about it. Don't worry about that. You don't have to stress out about it. They will actually open tomorrow. I won't wait and open them Friday. I'll actually open them tomorrow. So they're open. I'll try to have them open by 9:30 or 10, but I want to make sure that um, your database is up and going and that it looks like it's supposed to. So I'll take another look at that and have that open for you. I know a lot of times you all probably don't log into like 9 or 9:30. So by the time you log in, you should see it. So make sure you take a look at it. And if something doesn't look right or something like that, just text me and let me know. And the reason I'm trying to make sure I have it all done and you text me, try to do that by 10. So if there's anything I need to do, I can go ahead and do it before I actually go into a training class. You'll have a quiz 7 that will be listed under Tuesday that you would do. So it will be due on Tuesday.
Well, you got a quiz?
Yes, quiz. It's going to cover chapter 12. But what I might do, I probably will open it Tuesday, but I'll probably give you until Wednesday to get it done. I really don't want to do that because you already got enough other stuff to do. But I'll just open it Tuesday and leave it up to you. You can do it Tuesday or Wednesday, but then I'll fix it to stay open to Wednesday. Wednesday. Let's see what Wednesday, for both class activity and homework, you're just gonna have some little lab activities that you go out there and do, and a lot of it centers around HIPAA, security. Let's see what else I got. Let's see what your other ones are. You're gonna kind of do something on durable medical equipment. It's like, and those are like matching activities. So it's kind of like lot of some matchings and all that kind of stuff. So you
They're adorable for me.
durable medical equipment, things like, microscopes with
I know what they are. I'm just saying, spell the word for me. Durable.
DURABLE.
Uh-huh.
DURBL.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So y'all are kind of do stuff like that on day 15. You can tell the week is winding down. You have threaded discussion number 8, your initial post on Wednesday. And of course, you'll kind of prepare for your final exam. And that's basically just kind of, it picks up with chapter 8. So you just kind of review the notes, review the chapters from 8 through 12, including like key terms and stuff. Key terms help you a lot too when you're kind of reviewing notes and stuff like that, because it kind of just like repeats itself. So kind of look at your notes and your PowerPoints, kind of skim through your chapters. And then Thursday, you'll take your final exam online. And then for homework, you will submit you'll do, I think it's 2. You have 2 case studies, that's right. You'll have your last 2 case studies to do on that day.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, you'll do your final exam. You'll do your response post to threaded discussion number 8, and then you have 2 2 case studies to do. And for your case studies, I'm going to have you to be able to, I'm going to let you be able to turn those in by 10 that night. I'm going to have your exam open until 10 that night. So you got to get in there before 10. And then I'll allow your case studies to stay open to 10 o'clock. Your threaded discussion will also stay open to 10 o'clock. So pretty much 10 o'clock is like your cutoff for getting those last little few things done. That's pretty much it for the week. That's it for the week in a nutshell. So do y'all have any questions? I knew it was a lot. That's why I told you to take notes, because I knew it was going to be a lot of information. I just knew it. But I would have rather done it tonight so that it would give you the opportunity to ask questions. Other than the notes that I gave you, the databases will pretty much be self-explanatory. Now, your database tomorrow.
When you going to open them up?
This will open tomorrow. I need to take another look at the database before I open it up. I can't open,
Okay.
it won't open tomorrow anyway, but even when it comes tomorrow, before I upload it and open it all the way up for you to see it, I'm going to take another look at it and make sure it's okay.
Okay.
Because it is a scanned document, so I just want to take one, because if I need to make any changes to it, I want to do that. So at least by 9, when y'all normally going into the portal and stuff, you'll be able to see it or whatever. So and it'll look okay. So I want to make sure that it's going to be readable and nothing's going to be blurry or anything like that. But Mary, that's right, you off tomorrow, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you gonna print it tomorrow at home?
Yeah. Oh, I can be able to print it at home and go to school and print it.
Oh, okay, okay. What time you be going to school on Mondays?
About 10.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh yeah, you'll be good. Yeah, by that time you used to see it because I'm hoping that if y'all have any questions about anything by 10, you'll ask me the question. So if I need to fix something, I can fix it while I'm available.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
let's see, what else was I fixing to say? Uh, 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 uh. Oh, okay. So the database tomorrow is worth 50 points. So y'all know how they work. Every error is a point. Now your final project is 100 points. So that gives you a little bit more leeway. I hate to say that like that because I don't want that to sound like leeway to make mistakes because I don't want you making those. But even though it counts 100 points, I do have some that end up with 30 and 40 errors. I know that sounds, but I do. Yep, I do because it just be simple stuff. They just simple stuff. So just be mindful, be really, really careful. Um, and I think that's pretty much it. So I will be available up through 10 a.m. in the morning. So hopefully by 9, you all will be logging in and checking everything out. And if you have questions about something, reach out to me. And then that's pretty much like that for the rest of the week. And you can still send me text throughout the day. I will try to respond to you as much as I can, or especially like when I get a break and stuff like that. I'll try to respond back to you during that time.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah. So y'all have any other questions or anything that you don't understand?
No.
Not so far.
Okay. All right. Well, you know to reach out to me, text me if you have any questions about anything, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. Y'all have a wonderful night. I know we went over an hour. I do apologize, but I'm glad we was able to do it, and you were able to get all your notes and stuff. So y'all have a wonderful evening, and like I said, just text me tomorrow if you run into any issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
All right.
How about Miss Kane?